Hey, what is happening, you corrupt camera up? Coming at you with my first take on Charizard in the Rotation Temporal Forces format, but this time it's with B-Barrel. And before we get into it, Temporal Forces is coming up. I'm sure a lot of you are going to need some credits on PTCG Live to be able to build all the new decks. So if you need some codes, as always, PTCGL Store has got your back. Check them out, ptcglstore.com. Of course, the link will be in the description as always, and code AZULGG will get you a discount over there as well. So if you need any codes to get some credits for the new cards coming out soon from Temporal Forces, ptcglstore.com. Check them out. Like I said, Charizard today, but this time with the B-Barrel. And this build overall was very inspired by the top 4 list from Kenta Mori from the Champions League. It definitely started there, or used it as a reference point for when I was trying to come up with how do I think Charizard B-Barrel should be built right now. And there's a lot of things I liked about that list. Not the exact 60, of course, but not too far off. Not too far off, of course. So Charizard, of course. So we have our 3 Charizard EX. Not going to really surprise anyone with that. Charmeleon split. I'm playing 2 of them. It is a B-Barrel build. We do have the Arvins. We do have the TM Evolution. So we do want to be playing 2 Charmeleon at the very least. What should the Charmeleon split be? I couldn't tell you. I don't know yet. I don't know when we're going to want Flare Veil, or I don't know when we're going to be able to hit for 90 damage with a 1-prize Pokemon, or maybe the other one that does 70 damage that has 90 HP that can hit for, or that can hit for 70 damage that has 90 HP for 2 Fire Energy is the better way to go. We don't have Level Ball anymore, so maybe we should just be playing 100 HP Charmeleons. I don't know how good Flare Veil is going to be. I don't know how much TM Devo there's going to be. And like I said, there's the other Charmeleon as well that has 90 HP, that for 2 of Fire Energy does 70 damage. So maybe we want to hit a little bit harder for 2 energy. So definitely keep all of them in mind for right now, but with an unestablished meta, one is definitely going to be better than the others, or maybe one of 2 will be better than the other one. But should it be 2 of these, or 2 of these, or 2 of the other? I don't know yet. So keep that in mind. And with that in mind, I do have 4 Charmander, of course, but they are all the Flare Tackle Charmander, because the only thing that I can come up with right now where I really want an answer to is the Roaring Moon with whatever it's called, whatever the Calamity, not Calamity Storm, the first one, Frenzied Gouging. They do 200 damage to themselves. They leave themselves with 30 HP remaining. Heat Tackle does 30 damage, so we got 4 Heat Tackles in here right now. Maybe we want a little bit more HP, so we could definitely go to the 70 HP of the Ember, or the one that bumps Stadium. Bumping Stadiums right now is pretty irrelevant because there's no Paths of the Peak, so we'd probably go with the Ember one, hit a little bit harder for the 2 energy attack. The one that bumps Stadiums with 70 HP for 2 energy does 30 damage. The other one for 2 energy with the Ember does 40 damage. So we'd probably want to go with some Embers maybe. But for right now, I just have the 3 Heat Tackles, because Heat Tackle seems like the best attack overall to start with. For the B-Barrel line, it's thick. 3-3 B-Barrel. Man, these decks that I'm building with B-Barrel recently, they all got 3-3 B-Barrel. They all have 3-3 B-Barrel. I'm leaning on that 3-3 B-Barrel. I'm loving the 3-3 B-Barrel. I love the idea of it. It seems great. We want to find our B-Barrels, and the more B-Barrels you have, the faster you find them. So 3-3 B-Barrel in this Charizard deck. The bigger factor for that, I think, is that you just want to set up a 2-2 line of B-Barrel, and then if you prize one of your B-Barrels, you can't do that as aggressively. And also chaining B-Barrels, I think it's going to be a big Pokemon that people are going to be chasing as well against this deck. Like, one of the reasons that the B-Barrel Charizard deck generally feels pretty unfavored against Pidgeot Charizard in the current format is it's a lot easier for Pidgeot Charizard to chase your draw engine than it is for B-Barrel Charizard to chase the Pidgeot Charizard draw engine. So one thing is Pidgeot doesn't get 1-hit KO'd early on by Charizard, and the second thing would be that you're not going to be able to as consistently find your boss's orders when you're drawing with B-Barrel as you are going to be able to quick search for the boss's orders. So for the back line here, for the support, we got another Manaphy, or we got a Manaphy, and we got a Squavette that, of course, combos super well with the B-Barrel. I currently don't have Jirachi in this list. Like most of my lists that I've been showing to y'all, I don't have Jirachi in them because I don't know how popular Lost Zone is going to be, and I don't even know if it's going to make a difference in the prize trade to have access to something like a Jirachi. So no Jirachi currently, but obviously could be a pretty good inclusion if we do come to the realization, hey, Lost Zone's pretty popular and it's pretty good, so we probably want to play the Jirachi. And of course, you got the Radiant Charizard in here still. Also, not something I'm 100% convinced on. Actually, like in the current format, I've been like liking Radiant Charizard less and less. I don't know how it's going to hold up in the next format, in the Rotation Temporal Forces format. But in B-Barrel, it generally has been a stronger card because you can kind of limit your board to no 2 prizers in play, where it's like the Pidgeot build, you usually have something like a Rotom or a Pidgeot on your bench. So even when you go to attack with a Radiant Charizard, your opponent can theoretically still win the game on their turn by knocking out one of your bench 2 prize Pokemon. So Radiant Charizard probably still going to be a staple in the B-Barrel build at the very least. I could see it not being played, though, in the Pidgeot build currently or moving forward. So we'll see. For Arvin, really simple, really boring. For Iono, surprise, surprise, I know. And then we got the new supporter in here, the Codebreaker or Cryptomaniac or whatever this card is called. Search your deck for 2 cards, put them on top of your deck. Shuffle your deck and then put them on top of your deck, and then you draw into them with your B-Barrel, or you leave them on top. So if your opponent Ionos you draw into them then. So yeah, this card's pretty good with this deck. Obviously, you got like a lot of combos you can set up with this. You can find yourself your Charizard pieces. It's almost like a better Arven past turn 1. Like Arven is better turn 1 and can usually find your combos on following turns that you need. And of course, turn 2, Arven could even still be better as well, because if you don't have the B-Barrel established yet, well, you need to do that to be able to get the access to the cards that the Code Decipher or Codebreaker puts on top of your deck. So definitely don't want to play like 4 of these, because your access to the top of your cards in the first 2 turns of the game might be a little bit limited. But as the game progresses, you get to turn 3, turn 4, and after, this is definitely going to be like the go-to supporter to pull off combos. And then, of course, you'll still have the Iono if you need to disrupt your opponent as well. So this card's actually pretty sick. Also, like as far as combos go, like you can find yourself Counter Catcher. Like with this card, you can find yourself like Counter Catcher plus a Charizard or something like that. Kind of more limited on the Arven. Arven can only ever find you that tool card plus the item. So if you need like the Maximum Belt plus a Counter Catcher, Arven can still do that, but this can do a little bit more, just not as consistently on every turn is going to be as good as the Arven. So Arven's still good. And of course, it wouldn't be a Charizard deck without 3 Boss's Orders. Gotta have 3 Boss's Orders. What would we do without 3 Boss's Orders? Probably not be playing Charizard, to be honest, if we don't have 3 Boss's Orders. All right, Ultra Balls, 4 of them, of course. Why wouldn't we? We're a B-Barrel deck. We gotta find our B-Barrel and thin out our hands so we can draw more with B-Barrel. 3 Buddy Poffin. It's a new card. If you don't know what this one does, what are you doing? Search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon that have 70 HP or less and put them onto your bench. Buddy Poffin goes ridiculous in this deck. Getting those Charmanders, getting those Bidoofs. 1 Nest Ball. It is nice to have a way to find our Radiant Charizard. It's a little bit more efficient than an Ultra Ball. So 1 Nest Ball for that. Being able to Arven for Nest Ball and not having to Arven for Ultra Ball to find it is definitely nice. 1 Heavy Ball in here as well. Trying to maximize that consistency. Those outstore basic Pokemon on that turn 1. Also prizing a Charmander or a Bidoof can be really, really annoying depending on the situation. And it can make it like easier for us to like find our follow-up Bidoof. Like let's say we have 2 Bidoof in play and our opponent KOs 1. Let's say we only played 2 Bidoof, if we only played 2 Bidoof and our opponent KOs 1, we have to find Super Rod, then we have to Nest Ball back into play. When we have the 3 Bidoof, our opponent KOs a Bidoof or a B-Barrel, we can then Nest Ball for it or Ultra Ball for it or Poffin for it, or if one of them is prized, we get Heavy Ball for it as well. So it just kind of increases the consistency and the flow of our basic Pokemon in play. Also, prizing Radiant Charizard kind of stinks. Prizing Manaphy kind of stinks as well if we're up against a deck that has Radiant Greninja. And Skwovet is sometimes what we want on our bench before our second B-Barrel even, but after we get 2 B-Barrel in play, combined with the Skwovet is just ridiculously good. You know, Heavy Ball keeps that consistently happening. 3 Rare Candy, so we're not super reliant on the TM Evo. If we just go like turn 2 Candy-Zard and then evolve to like a Charmeleon, who really needs TM Evo anyways? But if we're playing 4 Arven, why would we not play a TM Evo? I couldn't tell you, so that's why we play it. 2 Counter Catcher, heavy on the Gust effects. I don't play the Prime Catcher in this build. I think if I did play the Prime Catcher, I'd probably go down to 1 Counter Catcher, but because we are rocking the Maximum Belt, I do like the idea of the 2 Counter Catcher. 2 Super Rod, wouldn't go anywhere without it in Charizard these days. You need the 2 Super Rod. Gotta consistently recover that energy more so than even the Pokemon, to be honest. All right. Tool cards are pretty good right now. Maximum Belts, even like the Ancient Capsules on Ancient Pokemon. So Lost Vacuum feels pretty solid right now, at least as a one of. Charizard is really the only deck consistently playing Lost Vacuum. I think if other decks were playing like Arven builds or stuff like that, those would maybe be playing vacuums as well. I say that, but I don't think Chien-Pao is ever going to be including a Lost Vacuum, even though you play Irida. And main part for that is there's really just no stadiums to bump in the current format. Like very few, if any. You'll maybe even realize here that I actually don't play any stadiums because I could be playing Artisans, but then I'm giving my opponent Artisan, so I don't like the idea of that. The only stadium I would consider playing in here would maybe be a collapsed stadium, because then we'd have a way to like discard a damaged Charizard off our bench if we wanted to, and kind of take away those prize cards from our opponent. So that's the only thing I would consider would be a collapsed stadium. But yeah, besides that, I think rocking 1 Vacuum makes sense because there's some pretty powerful tool cards running around right now. And yeah, I don't want to give my opponent my stadium. Now, sure, the only other thing with Artisan would be if you put Artisan in play, you could use it this turn and next turn. But once again, you're giving it to your opponent, and there's a chance that they just bump it, or you don't really even need it that much on your next turn anyways. So yeah, I just don't like the idea of giving it to my opponent, really, more so than anything. Only 1 switch card in the deck right now, just that 1 switch. Could see playing a second one, I guess, but I think before I play another switch card, I would play like more energy or like another Super Rod, and use that as our ways to move our B-Barrel. I'm not really too scared of B-Barrel getting trapped. Like if they bring it up at the active and they're not taking a prize card that turn, I don't mind taking like 2 turns to retreat it, or we do have that one switch in here as well that can move our B-Barrel. Like I said, I got the maximum belt in here as the A-Spec, being able to aggressively KO other Charizards earlier and also aggressively KO the Pidgeot EX up against the Pidgeot build. I just really like the idea of that. Also very good against stuff like Chien-Pao. Allows to be a little bit more aggressive in that matchup. Also very good against the Future Hands deck, because what they try and do is attack with the Miraidon on the first turn of the game. They get their 1 prize card, and then you can't actually KO a 2 prize Pokemon sometimes. You could play the Defiance Band to be able to get around that as well, though. You could go Defiance Band plus Counter Catcher to bring up one of their 2 prizes off their bench and KO it. Also, the Future Hands deck could just like not take a knockout early on and wait until they're drawing multiple prize cards with their first Iron Hands. Like, don't even use Miraidon to take a knockout. Then just set up the first Iron Hands and start taking prize cards from there. And if they go that route, we don't have a way to 1-hit KO on Iron Hands unless you play the maximum belt. And then we can be the aggressor, get the first 2 prize knockout, and actually be ahead in the game, and then probably just win the game there from there, to be honest. So really good against the Future Hands decks, stops their cheese, and then also just, yeah, good in the Charizard Mirror, which does seem to be the most popular deck in the format right now. I don't think it's like guaranteed. Some people are playing, I mean, it's hard to fall down in popularity, I feel like, over in Japan, but currently it's looked at as like the #1 deck in the format. I guess I do also have the Defiance Banding here. I forgot I had the Defiance Banding here because I'm actually just not sure what this should be yet. Once again, meta dependent. What should our, besides our A-Spec, of course, the maximum belt's a little bit different. We do definitely just want to play like 1 damage modifier tool. Should it be Vitality Band? Should it be Choice Belt? Should it be Defiance Band? I couldn't tell you. So right now I have the Defiance Band in here, but I think that's definitely like a discussion to have as to which one's the best in the meta. And I'm not too locked in on the meta being one thing or another. So without knowing exactly what's going to be the most popular decks in the format, or what deck specifically maybe I'm trying to tech against. Yeah, am I specifically trying to tech against one matchup or another with the Choice Belt or with the Vitality Band or with the Defiance Band? I couldn't tell you yet, but I'll tell you eventually. But for right now, I have a Defiance Band in this list. But like I said, this could be any of them. This could be any of them. I think we should probably play one of them, though. I'm pretty set on us playing one of them for sure. Which one should it be? I don't know. You tell me. And lastly, of course, like I mentioned, 1TM Evolution. I think for how many Rare Candy we're playing currently, Charmeleons, I'm not too committed, or we're not like too all in on the TM Evolution, like kind of I was with my Guardy list. The Guardy list that I just showed you guys recently was, was playing 2 TM Evolution. It was playing the Luminion, 4 Ultra Ball. Wanted a lot of access to it with that deck. For this deck, I feel like, I don't know. I just don't feel as committed to like needing to find this on that first turn of the game, going second or second turn after we went first. Whatever it might be, I just feel like this is just not as necessary. Like, we got the 3 Rare Candy in here. We got plenty of ways to find it with the Arven turn 2, or we get the Code Breaker involved. We get that Candy Charizard, no problem. So just 1 TM Evo for now. I think if I did want to commit a little bit more to this, we'd go up to 2 of them, maybe even add like an energy search in here as well. So we have outs to the energy through the Arven. But yeah, for this current build right now, I'm just like, I'm kind of a little bit more. It's like doesn't feel as necessary. So, all right, that's my take on Bibzarr. Like I said, shout out to Kenta Mori. Top 4 at the most recent Champions League, heavily inspired from their build. I really loved what I saw from their build. Did add or did make a couple changes from like where I started with their list. And yeah, I think Charizard in general just seems really good. Is it the Bib that's better? Is it the Pidge that's better? Is it meta dependent? We'll have to wait and find out, but hope you all enjoy the list. Can use it as a starting point. And yeah, let me know what you think about Defiance Band, Vitality Band, Choice Belt. Which one do you think is best? Should we be running 1 of them, 2 of them, all of them? Probably not. That sounds like a lot. Or which one? Yeah, which one do you think is best? Or do you think there should even be multiple in here? Probably. I think probably 1. If we play the maximum belt, probably only 1. If we cut the maximum belt for the Prime Catcher, I could see playing like Choice Belt and Defiance Band, or Vitality Band and Choice Belt, or something like that. I could see like playing 2, probably not 2 of 1, but maybe 2 of each of the different ones, because maximum belt already does a lot against the EX Pokemon. So actually, to be honest, the more I'm thinking about it, if we're playing maximum belt, maybe the Defiance Band should just be a Choice Belt. Maybe there are a couple opportunities where it comes up where we want Defiance Band and maximum belt against EX Pokemon. Only time will tell. Catch you on the next video. Peace. I just realized as I went to go edit this video that I forgot to talk about the energy. I also forgot about this in the Gardevoir video. There's 8 Psychic Energy in the Gardevoir video. There's 7 Fire Energy in this Charizard deck. There you go. Peace.